Welcome back, everybody. Yes, this is the morning show coming to you live from our studios in Belize City. And in the studios with me, I have two lovely ladies, of course. My pleasure, as always. We have Miss Tina Gill, who's the administrator at the Welcome Resource Center.
Good morning.
And Mrs. Azalia Leroux, and she's the vice president of the Mental Health Association. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I understand that October is usually slated as Mental Health Month, and of course you celebrate it, or at least make us more aware of it. And tell us about that. How's that? What are the plans you have?
All right. So this mental health month, well, I want to say first that mental health and mental wellness should be all year long, first of all, right? But we do highlight it in October. And so we have, as part of the Mental Health Association, what we're doing, we are embarking on doing two main activities, right? Main events that we'll be doing. The first one is a youth symposium. And the idea of this is to get youths to talk, right? To talk about what is happening. And the focus is actually on suicide prevention. So we want it to be, we're empowering, and that's what, and bringing awareness, but we want it to be something in which the youths are empowering the youths to take this over. It's their changing the narrative, or going with that, the theme for this year is suicide prevention. And we'll simply be talking more about it, bringing it out in the awareness, right? Because when we don't talk about things, that's when we tend to hide it. And maybe you have suicidal thoughts. Youths, it's one of the second leading causes of death is suicide for youths, right? We also know that males are higher than females to commit suicide, right? And those are some data as well shows here in Belize last year we had a larger number of the males committing suicide than the females. So we're
I was
trying
surprised
to get
when I heard the
them out.
number of suicides, say, in the last 12 months. You know, I didn't realize it was that high.
Yeah, right. So we're involving junior colleges, universities, and we are actually looking for a moderator, because this isn't, we don't want to, this is not about us, the professionals. We want the youths to take it over. So we're looking for a moderator. So if you are excellent at speaking, right, communicating,
skills.
communication skills, you're a leader, you respect diversity, of course, right, multicultural, and you want.
But you have to have some understanding right, of the
mental
subject.
health. Yes.
Right. So we're looking for, if you're a psychology major, if you're a social work major, right?
The university has quite a few of those.
Right.
Galen, I know, has a few.
We have reached out. We have reached out to Galen University, SJCJC, and UB social work sectors. So we got a few calls, asking interest and so forth. But one of the things, the idea behind, we wanted to get a tertiary level moderator because we want them to be a bit relatable to the young youths. Because
you need someone a little more mature and experienced as well.
The symposium is set up as a panel discussion. So we have 6 youths who will be representing their school, and they will be talking about mental health, suicide prevention. But the theme for suicide prevention was changing the narrative. So we want to hear what the young persons have to say. We want to know what type of messages that they want to hear when we're talking about mental health. So representative on the panel is going to be from Palote, SCA, we have one from St. Vernon, a youth from
ACC,
ACC,
definitely SCA, Canaan,
ITSAT,
Palote.
So they will be representing the panel. I think that it's quite an exciting venture, and all the schools, we have 12 schools, 120 students in all coming, when we reached out to the school administration and the counselors, because all schools have a counselor, they were quick to jump on this event because they see it very, very vital and important for young persons to take part in such a discussion. This symposium is being funded by UNICEF. So they are taking care of all of the financial stuff for the event. We have a bus that will pick up the students and drop them off back to schools. And of course, parents will be given permission. All the schools are going to be sending out permission letters from parents so that they know that their children will be off campus for that event.
Again, remind
Which
us
is October
when and where?
16th.
October 16th as the Ramada Princess.
Okay. All
Yes,
right.
and it's going to be from 1 p.m. to 4:30. And we invite as well the media to come and highlight the event and show it on the different media outlets. Because I think that is a very important discussion. Like Ms. Azalia mentioned, mental health is something that's very, very important, and it affects all of us on a day-to-day basis. You know, just driving in traffic and the way that traffic is, and sometimes someone would cut in front of you.
Or kill
and
somebody else.
before you know, this person
Emotion
is
regulations.
going about their day, and you're still upset in the car because this person cut you out, you know. So that affects your mental health. By the time you get to work, you're upset. So I think that it's also important to have some coping mechanism. So for me, one of the things that I try to practice is breathing, because when we're short of temper, we lack the oxygen goes to our
right.
brain. So, but yes, in highlighting additional activities that we're doing, we also have 8 high schools who are going to hold Rags Day at their school. And all proceeds would go to the Welcome Resource Center, where I am the administrator at that
Okay.
center. So the Welcome Resource Center is a social support center for the homeless, those who are suffering from mental illness, and those who abuse some substances. We have about 15 to 20 consistent participants who are there on a daily basis. We provide showers and amenities for them. We provide food for them every day, breakfast and lunch, and we also offer weekend packages to them. So to have, because we don't open on Saturdays and Sundays, so for them to have something for the weekend. But one of the important things that I also want to highlight about homelessness, we have a definition in our minds about what homelessness is. But homelessness just means that you don't particularly have the structures where other persons have. We do have people who are in our shelters who lives in shelters. So they have a room that they can go and sleep for the night. So, and then they come and
How many
spend
of
their.
those do you have? in
We
the city?
have, how many shelters do we have in the
No,
city?
yeah, well, not shelters. I mean, how many homeless that you're hosting
Hosting our
giving
Oh.
shelter to?
On a daily, well, we don't give
We're a
shelter.
day
We are a center just for recreational.
Day center.
Okay.
And we're open from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. So, but I do believe that there are 2 shelters that I know about. Good Samaritans, the Salvation Army. They have homes that they provide these rooms. Some of the persons that we have about 15 to 20 members, and about 5 or 6 of them are within those shelters. We have about 4 members who are actually sleeping on the streets. So we're trying to see if we can locate a proper place for them. But for the public at large listening and probably wondering how they can support the center, we welcome people to come into the center. So if you want to provide a pantry for them, or if you want to provide clothes, decent clothes, of course. If you want to, if you even want to come in and just spend an hour or so there to play games, or to, share a story, or it doesn't matter. You don't have to have a particular skill or not. As long as you have the heart to give, you can come into our center. You can contact us at 202-2511, and we would be more than happy to host you. Going back to the Rags Day, we're asking the students for the schools. We have 8 schools that are participating in the Rags Day, and a $2 fee is going to be charged for Paint the Campus Green. That's the team that we're going with. So we're asking the students to wear green because that's the color for Mental Health Month. So all proceeds will go to the Welcome Resource Center because we are a non-governmental organization as well. So, and then later on in November.
I just want to add, before we move on to that one though, we can't, this could not have been possible without UNICEF, of course, who is funding the Youth Symposium that will happen on October 16th. And we also were collaborating with the Youth Department.
Yes.
So they will be assisting us as well on that day. And I just want to
Department of
take
Youth
the
Services.
Department of Youth
Yes.
Services, right? So we do have, we welcome other organizations to collaborate with us. I think that's important, that to get out that awareness in mental health
I
and
think
the
it's an
advocacy
excellent
as
idea
well.
getting, the young people involved, because if you deal with this on a daily basis. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, how do I teach this? How do I make them aware? And your objective is to make them aware. But what is the salient message you want to put out to these young persons?
Right. So the team is changing the narrative, and as I said, when we think about suicide, and even as a mental health therapist, I get individuals who may come to me, and one of our confidentiality is if you are hurting yourself or someone is hurting you, that some of these things might not stay confidential, right? But I often say it's not as easy as that. It takes, as a practitioner, you need to be able to assess what is their state, their mental state, to determine, because most of the individuals would come to you having these thoughts already. And we don't want it to seem because you have these thoughts, something is wrong with you, right? That's not it. Because you have these thoughts, it's not that, it's just, it could mean that you're having a hard time. And it's okay to have these thoughts, but we will process this within your sessions. It's okay to tell a friend, right? We also need to have parents aware of what are some of the signs of these things, right? Maybe bullying has been happening in school. That's very important for you to notice what is happening in your child's life, and you're able to take action before something,
Well,
before it increases.
There has to be a
something.
cause.
Right.
Identifying the cause is
Yeah.
sometimes I think might be
Yeah,
difficult.
it could be anxiety, right? It could be
No,
just
but I mean,
self-esteem issues
Anxiety
happening.
is the effect of something that's causing
Right.
it.
It could be
Something
trauma.
bigger than all of us.
Yeah, it could be past trauma, complex trauma that they're going through at home or school in one
Right.
of their communities. But the idea is that our youths will be talking about this so that they're aware that everything that we do, even if you have a friend, right? Asking that friend, how are you doing today? Right? And sometimes it's the happiest person. So don't be, and this is what we're trying to get out there.
An affront.
Yeah, they put on a front, they, hi everybody, and hail everybody, and everything good, when really they're lonely, and they're alone, and they're fighting everything that they're feeling within alone, all the pain. And it's a lot of emotional distress that comes with these thoughts, right?
Like,
so-
if I have a pain or so, I know I can go to a doctor. And they're all over the place, But if I have a mental conflict or something like that, how aware are these young people that we have counselors all over the place? Because we don't basically, but even the ones we have, like, do I know where to turn to right away? If
Right.
there's a crime, I can call the cops.
Yeah.
If I can call an ambulance, I can
Yeah.
this. But if I'm
And
having
the
a
part-
mental
Yeah.
situation,
Yes.
I remember going to school years ago and they used to have a big sign, yeah, you have a mental problem, come see me or call this number. And they still do that,
And I think that that's why it's so important for this youth symposium, because the overall messages, as Azalia was saying, it's for people to understand that it's okay. mental health it's okay, and I think that there is still a lot of stigma and discrimination connected to mental health, because when people talk about mental health, the picture in their mind is crazy, a crazy person walking down the street, talking to themselves. So that's automatically where their mind goes. But that's just a part of mental health. When you now start to get into the different diagnosis and other stuff. But mental health, as I said earlier, it's an aspect of our daily lives. And I think the overall message is to understand that it is okay. It's okay to not have a good day. It's okay to feel a certain type of way. And I think that that's the barrier that blocks people from accessing the care. Because there is a Port Loyola Clinic who also works along with us. There is, I do believe, Belize Medical Associates have a psychiatrist there, and all the schools in our country has a counselor.
Yeah, I know they have counselors.
The
yeah.
high schools. So you can also access help through that means. But I think as well that how people are treated when they're accessing this care is very, very vital, whether or not they're going to repeat care. So I think that's also a part of the barrier, because not everybody has the specific training to handle when a person comes in to talk about, I'm hearing voices, or I feel off sorts, automatically as a reaction from other people, because they don't have the necessary skills to address that. They will automatically do something that the person feels a bit discriminated on. So I think it's understanding that you can access, it's okay, but also to have the proper, because when you go into a certain environment, the person that you need to speak to is not automatically the first person that you're going to come in contact with. So that's why it's very vital that every person has some sort of training when they're coming in contact with the public at large, because you never know who you're going to come in contact with. So I think that these are very important factors, so that people understand that it's okay, and I can access these different resources that are available to us.
What about, I mean, you need counselors and so on. I don't know if it's still done, but I know in the old days you go see a priest, or you have an elder somewhere, or someone in your family. They may not have the training, but you need somebody you can confide.
The community,
Yes,
right.
And
we're also just bringing back that point in which you say sometimes you don't know. So a part of the youth symposium, we're actually asking mental health practitioners to come in, because we have different mental health practitioners. For example, my background was in psychology at first, but I moved into clinical social work, and I'm currently doing my doctoral degree in trauma-informed practice as well. So, but they have psychologists, so they have psychiatrists, they have people with just that mental health counseling, right? So there are a variety of different mental health practitioners, and it's finding that person that you are able to work with, that you feel comfortable with. So we are asking people, mental health practitioners, to attend the youth symposium on October 16th, so that the youths have a chance to meet you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of people in the city and around the country that have private practice. So I think that it's important to have them a part of the symposium. And going back to the your point that you made, the tea
and talk. Strengthening our
strengthening
support system.
Yeah, so that's basically the foundation on the tea and talk. And we will be having a guest speaker.
So tea and talk is on November 16th. We will have tickets out shortly for sale, but we are only seating 50, and we are inviting individuals to come to the Welcome Resource Center. Right, we will have both mental health practitioners there at the Welcome Resource Center, right?
Yes.
Which is on
Which is on Tiboose and Vernon Street, way at the end.
Right. So we will be having it there, and we will be talking about not only having a person who may have been suffering with mental health, right, and bringing awareness to that. How do we, as a community, as family, how do we support that person, and how do we take care of ourselves after having to deal with an individual like that within our family?
Do you arrange like interventions, things like that? Do you encourage it or do you help?
Well,
maybe I
one-
come to you and I have someone maybe is on drugs. You know, and
We
I
do
need
connect
help for this
resources.
Yeah,
person.
we do have people that would reach out to the Welcome Resource Center because again, the Welcome Resource Center is directed under the Mental Health Association. So when people contact the Mental Health Association through the Welcome Resource Center, we would link them to the different resources that would be available. And this is why it's so important. We have another board member, Miss Charlene Sanchez, who is very, very passionate about mental health and family support because there's a lot of families out there who have family members that they take care of. And it's very, very hard for them. Not only taking care of your own self and your own mental health, but also trying to take care of a family member who is having some sort of episode. And again, that's why it's so important for different agencies like the police, like the police station, the hospital resources, and all of these public meet with people and work with that. So it's so important for them to have some sort of training because sometimes family members do experience when their member of the family might be having an episode and may perhaps get violent, for whatever reason.
But that's at a level where the person is showing signs.
Maybe the
But
person
we are
is
talking about
diagnosed
people
with-
who are every day going through, can't pay the bills, for one. Your girlfriend left you, or vice versa.
Yeah, everyday stress.
We are not
Yeah.
even talking here about social media. We know
Yeah.
social media is
And bullying,
is
cyberbullying,
that's-
yeah.
We just had a story recently of this going on. So it's bigger than
Yeah,
all of
it
us.
really
There's a
is.
lot more than you are doing your jobs, but there's more to be identified. That's why I come back like to the cause and identify the bigger issues we're having in our country that are going on, and bigger people than you or me need to get involved.
Yeah,
Right.
of
Very
course. True.
Very true. Because change doesn't happen unless we have people that make the decision, administration, the entire
That's right.
culture changes, right? And
That's
this
right.
could be within organizations
And
as well.
as well, you think about how hard it is to change your own habits and your own behaviors and trying to do that with someone else, so change does occur when you as the individual realize
Yeah.
that there is a change that needs to be
You need to
had.
come back and we talk about this. You should, try and book us at least once a month. Okay, it's a very broad subject.
Oh, yes, it is.
Understanding it, most of us don't even understand it yet.
Yes.
Have you heard of the Homeless World Cup?
No.
Yes.
Yes, you've heard of the
We
Homeless
had
World Cup. It just
there was
finished
a
2 weeks
movie
ago.
on it as well, a
It's an
documentary.
international event and it's growing. I was wondering,
Okay.
we should have sent
I
my
need
team
to-
one of these days.
Yes.
They
Okay.
play football.
I
on a
need to look
country
into
pitch, and
it.
the people have to be homeless and
Oh,
they're
okay.
fighting homelessness and so on. Very, very, okay. So
It brings awareness to
This is-
self,
yeah.
and it
This-
creates that, that
The
feeling of I
symposium
am
is-
someone.
it's on the
October
16th.
16th.
October
It's coming up.
16th, the Youth Symposium. Again, we are still looking for a moderator. So
yeah.
if you feel that you have a background in either you're doing your psychology degree or your clinical degree in any aspects,
You
your
need that. You
Yeah,
need
so-
to be aware of the problem.
University of Belize. We are looking at Galen. We're looking at people from
Mhm.
SJC, JC, from the sixth form. All right. And all they need to do is contact us at the
Yes.
Welcome Resource Center. So
202-2511
202-2511.
or they can call or they can email mentalhealthresourcecenter@gmail.com.
Okay.
And we're also on social media, so you
Yes.
can just send us a
Send us
message
a
on
message.
Facebook as well. Welcome Resource
Resource
Center.
Center.
That's right. You're easy to find.
Yes, we
Of
are.
course. Ladies, thank you again.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us
Azalea
here.
and Tina, keep up
Thank
the
you.
good work.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, that's all for this morning, folks. We'll be back again tomorrow morning, same time, same place, with more on the morning show.